Alright, y'all, welcome back to the G35 build. As y'all know, based on my last video, caught the car on fire. So I do got the new harness. We can start with taking this old one out, but I'm not going to go too deep into it for now because I'm still waiting on the valve covers and stuff to come, and then I'll commence to taking like the plenum and everything off up here. But for now, going to work on getting this harness unplugged everywhere I can for now, and probably just leave it like that till the valve covers come in. And I did go with aluminum, so these plastic ones are going out. And but yeah, guys, hopefully we don't burn, well, ain't no hopefully, we ain't burning the car up this time. I can show y'all the harness. I got it sitting in here. I think I set it back here. Yeah, hold on, excuse the weather trim. I gotta probably get a new weather trim for this door because it falls almost every time you open the door. But there's my new 03 harness, and what made me confirm that this is a true 03 harness, here are 3 plug transmission wires right here and the mass airflow sensor plug. Let me just pull it out so I can just show y'all. Bring it over here. Now this right here is my mass airflow sensor, which it has the flat gray plug. It might look black right now because it's charred from the fire, but here is that exact same plug right here for the mass airflow sensor. So I know I have the correct wires because of the transmission wires and that mass airflow sensor. Those are like the dead giveaways to let you know you have a early 03 or basically a 2002 G35. I don't care what anybody say, this is a 02. Even though it's a early 03 like everyone calls it, this is just a 02 G35. They were just rebadging them or reselling them as 03s when these are truthfully 02s, because then the true like 03.5s and the 4s, and plus they have a different mass airflow sensor plug, plus they have a one plug for the transmission. So but yeah, let me stop talking and I'll take y'all through as much as I can with this for now. Unplugging this stuff. I did start pre-unplugging stuff to make sure I didn't need to see everything I needed to buy. Like I had to unplug the variable valve timing solenoids, make sure the connectors on them wasn't melted or none of that. But I gotta get this, this AC compressor still plugged in down here. See if I can get that unplugged real quick. Oh, that plug does not feel good. Am I about to get a new AC compressor too? Hold on guys, let me pause it real quick. Alright guys, I got it all unplugged here, and there's actually nothing wrong with the connector. There it is right there. I just had to slide it back onto the compressor. The wire isn't even burnt. That's so crazy. The wire ain't even burnt on the compressor, but the connector on the harness end was. But that's pretty much everything down there. Do got to go through and unplug all the coils on this side. I did unplug the throttle body already, and it looks like I may or may not need a throttle body. I don't know. I'll test this out whenever it's time to start the car again, and if it doesn't work, then that's when I'll get a new throttle body. But for now, continue taking off more hoses and more connectors and stuff like that. I know these ones over here, like these ones here, they are about to give me a run for my money, because you see they're almost like plastic welded together. So I'm going to have to bust out probably some pliers and flatheads to get them free, so I can just focus on getting the wire harness out for now and not, you know, other parts. I'm gonna try to unplug some stuff on this side too. I'm gonna go on the inside and pull out or unplug the ECU, TCU, and bring those wires up through. You know, they go through the grommet that's right under here. Pull those out, and want to say I may need. I'm going to try to rebuild these headlight harnesses, because I know this harness pretty much runs like that. So I kind of want to try to see if I can just cut it back enough and rebuild it up to where I need it to. I know this airbag sensor that's here, or wherever it went, that thing is completely cooked. And I'm actually shocked. Oh, airbag sensor ain't cooked. That's actually fine. Thought it did cook, but airbag sensor seems to be fine. But I will have to repair the wiring to it, as y'all see, because it's all melted. So I will be doing that. This is stuff for the clutch fan, or the factory electric fans, if this car came with them, but they never did. So that stuff is right there. And you know, the headlight plug down here. This is, I can't even remember what some of this stuff goes to. I know, I can't even really think right now. Don't get me to lying, guys. But yeah, I'm going to get ready to start pulling all of this stuff out. And let me just stop repeating myself and try to get some progress on it. So I'm gonna pause y'all again, get a couple things taken out, and then I'll bring y'all back. Alright guys, after a few cuss words and banging my hands on stuff, we got the wiring harness pretty much ready to be pulled. Got everything unplugged all on this side. As y'all see, they had to cut a couple connectors, because like y'all see this one right here. Yeah, I was never getting that unplugged. I tried for like a good 5-10 minutes, couldn't get it unplugged, and just cut it. So, but I got the rest of the ones unplugged. I even got the cam sensor back there unplugged. Don't ask me how I did it. I just reached my hand back there and the connector actually fell apart and it just slid off. But sensor feels fine. I'm going to pull it out once I pull the plenum off and check it and all of that. But same thing with this side. I got the cam sensor. Let me turn the flash on. Yep, I got the wire off the cam sensor down there. Move this out of your way. I got the coolant temp sensor plug undone. There's a couple other plugs down here that I got undone, like the fuel rail or the fuel injector harness over there. I am going to check out the knock sensor and all of that, but all of that stuff is to be checked out when I pull the plenum off. But for the most part, move this crowbar out the way. I had to take, for the most part, this is ready to come out. Like literally, this is ready to come out now. So I'm gonna go on the inside and probably pull those ECU plugs, and I'll probably take this one, just fish it in there and just coil it up on top of the engine until I'm ready to, you know, start plugging things back in and I get the new valve covers and all of that. But for now, I can at least get that put in there. All right, and I'm about to show y'all basically how that gets done. Good thing is my ECU and everything, move these papers and stuff out of the way, move all of this stuff down here out of the way. But my ECU and everything has pretty much been sitting down here already. So to undo this stuff, you just take, and I know my hands are very dirty, but that's because I'm messing with them burnt wires up there. You press this in and like pull this out, but I can't do that with one hand. These are here. This is the transmission computer. Pull those out. Just like that. This is the relay for the transmission here. And I have one more plug over here, which you just take and you undo this one. Hold on guys, let me get these two plugs out. But y'all know you have to get this plug out, this plug up here out, and it should be able to come up through the dash. All right, but that's everything unplugged. I'm going to get ready to show you where to pull it through up front. I'm going to move my ECU. Ooh, some rust and stuff on there. Might take this apart and clean it out, but it was working fine. So I'm not going to broke what ain't fixed, or I'm not going to fix what ain't broke. I said that completely backwards. But right here, just taking, you just pull at it. It comes up. You gotta pull at it a little bit. Oh, I might need both my hands again. All right, yep, got it all pulled out here. It's ready to come out, but there are also 3 plugs here that you need to disconnect. These basically go down to the IPDM relay. So I'm going to unplug these really fast. If I can do it with one hand, I can't. Alright, all three of those plugs are unplugged, and now I should be able to just pull this straight up and through now. Probably would be a lot better if you had a second person with you, because you could have them feed up pretty much as you pull. So that's pretty much what I'm about to do here. I'm gonna try to be 2 people at once. See what it's getting stuck on. Alright, I should be able, I think it was getting caught on that connector down there. Should be able to pull it out now. No. Trying to pull it. Oh, it came up a little bit further. It's coming out. All right, there's one connector. Don't try to force all the connectors out at one time, especially if you're trying to save your harness. You don't want to do any damage. So this harness, I'm not trying to save it, so I'm just doing what I need to do to get it out. There's the relay, and I think this should be, no, there we go. There's another connector, and now should be the transmission connectors down here. Sorry about all the camera moving. I'm trying to see, and there we go. All right, now we just take and pull this from behind the battery. Battery may even be sitting on it. Let's pull the battery out. Yep, battery was definitely sitting on it. Then you know, you unclip this from here. There we go. I'm gonna throw burnt up harness over there. I'm gonna set this battery back down here. All right, and harness is pretty much ready to, I want to say it can come completely out. Let me see. I don't know if it's actually, no, I still got some stuff on the bottom. So give me a few minutes. I think I just have to get transmission connectors and the crank sensor. That's all I need, and then this whole harness is out. All right, guys, this is the under of the car. Got all the connectors undone, and honestly, I may not need to get connectors for the transmission because they all came apart and they all look fine. I'm just going to thoroughly inspect these pins and wires and make sure nothing's touching, retape everything, and if I can get the new connectors on, plugged in, and stay on, and not get no error codes or anything, I'm not going to worry about it at all. But other than that, everything under here is completely disconnected. I will need to get a starter, but that was already on the list. But yeah, other than that, let's see if we can pull this wire harness out now. All right, let's see if we can pull it now. So to move this out of the way, got to cut the flash off. Let me see what it's caught on real quick. All right, guys, I got it all out. It was stuck on a coolant hose back there, but I got it out of the way and it came straight up and out. So now what I need to do is just fish it around this stuff, because I have a couple hoses there still to undo, but I'm pretty confident I can just fish it around all of this. But got to pull it out from here, and we'll be able to lay the entire harness out and see the full carnage. Still some more melted plastic and stuff still getting stuck back there. There we go. There we go. Let's see. Make sure nothing else. I'm going to take and try to pull this way. And alright, guys, here's the burnt up harness right here. Got it all stretched out. We're ready to, like I said, I'm not going to throw this new harness completely in because, like I said, I want to check other things before I start plugging everything in. Basically, want to make sure everything is completely good with everything before I start plugging anything in. So, like I said, valve covers are on the way, and valve covers are on the way. I already have a fuel injector, already got the radiator, wiring harness. I do got to get brake lines, but I think I'm going to do the 05, 06 brake swap on here because I only got single piston calipers on this thing. So we'll be switching over to those. I do have to get both, like I said, try to rebuild both sides of these harnesses because I don't want to completely unrun that harness that runs behind that secondary firewall or whatever. But if I have to, I guess it's just gonna suck. But all right, y'all, as y'all see, sun almost down, so I need to get done with what I'm doing right here. Man, this car really just got me on bark right now, for real, with 3 R's. But here we go, right here. To put this back in, it's pretty much the same way. Just, you know, want to put in one connector at a time and slowly fish it down. If you have to go inside the cab just to make sure, you know, nothing's being tugged or being caught on anything, definitely do that. But I've done this so many times now that, you know, I'm kind of a pro at it. Not that I've done this so many times, but still. But as y'all see, we got those first couple connectors in. Just need to fish this last one in down here, and then I'll plug everything up in there. Try to get this down in here. Like I said, I'm sorry for the camera angles, y'all. I was trying to see and put this stuff down, and it's hard, like, looking in the camera, you know, trying to work, pretty much trying to use the camera as your eyes. But all right, let's go inside and see where everything's setting at. All right, let's see. All right, got a couple connectors here. I think there's one. Let's cut the flash on. I think the other one's folded up there. Yeah, this one right here started going down the wrong side. And let's see if I can, there we go. They started getting kinked up there a little bit. That's what I was saying. Make sure if you do this, if this is your first time, have an extra person around because it will help. But me, I like to work by myself a lot. It's kind of why y'all see me in every video, even though I say I'll get help sometimes and I'll still do it by myself. I just like working by myself. You know, sometimes I just like working in peace and quiet and stuff like that without being bothered. But you know, actually probably gonna cut this tape or see if I can destroy it real quick. Yeah, let me see if I can just rip that tape so that way I can have a little bit more slack. All right, tape is broken, and to put this in, you literally just push it down and it clips into place. You'll hear it clip. Sometimes you may have to spin it a little bit, but y'all, I don't know if y'all heard it, but it clicked. It's in place, as you see. I tug on it and stuff like that. Now it won't come out, but you definitely want to make sure it's completely covered, or water will leak in there. Water will leak in through there. So there we go. Now, you know, these 3 plugs, you can't mess these ones up. Honestly, you can't mess them up at all, actually, because they're all specific. Even though there's 2 gray plugs here, as you see, one's bigger than the other, and then there's a black plug. So you just want to plug them back in where they were. Okay, what did this take? And bam, plug this in. Oh, I'm plugging it the wrong way. Oh, that's the wrong connector. See, that was the wrong connector. Y'all seen it right there in 4K. You cannot plug these into the wrong connectors. So this one, actually, this longer one goes all the way on the end, actually. Hold on. think I got it the wrong way. Man, these plugs are difficult to try to plug in. There we go. That one's plugged in. And then this one here, plugged straight in. Oh, there we go. Heard the click. All right. Those three are plugged in. Let's go inside the cabin. And we are going to plug in our ECU, transmission computer, and I believe this is the BCM, what this plug is for. But remember, guys, if y'all remember when I first got this back up and running, or at least got the turnkey part about it, I was having trouble with this connector. So what y'all want to do is when you, I want to say it needs to be, yeah, completely, no, it has to be this way. So you want to keep it depressed this way, but you want to make sure this one gets all the way in there, or you will have issues of like not starting, and you will get a U1000 code. I had a U1000 code because it wasn't plugged in all the way. So if you have a U1000 code after doing an engine swap, please check this connector. And literally, mine's literally, it looked like it was plugged all the way in, but it wasn't. I came back here and pushed it a little bit, and then that snap that y'all just heard, then I noticed that the service engine light, transmission, and all the computers were able to be read. After that, I was able to pull codes and stuff like that. But even once you get the U1000 code, leave the battery disconnected for a little bit after you've made sure this is plugged in securely, and then put the battery back on, and code should be gone and you shouldn't see it again. But I want to take and plug this transmission computer in over here, and I want to say these plugs should be the same way. I don't think you can mix these up, but let's see. I'm about to try to plug them in real quick. Oh, wrong way. Oh my, hold on guys, I might have to put the camera down for a second. Hand is starting to cramp up a little bit. All right, yeah, so you can't mix these plugs up. As you see, this plug will not go onto this one. White one goes on the bottom, gray one goes up top. And the way you can tell the difference in the plug is where these little pieces of the clip, see how these ones are more on the edge of the clip, these ones are more close to the D press tab on it. So white on the bottom, gray up top. And then the last thing that needs to be plugged in is the ECU. So I'm about to plug that in real quick. Alright, trying to make sure I get this plugged in correctly. I think it should be this way. Should be. Or is it this way? Alright, yeah, there we go. It's that way. And this is same thing with this. You just want to make sure it's like firm in there firmly. So take it, put it in there. Try to use this black clip to like fully seat it, because it does. If you get it on there correctly, it will grab. Hold on. See how the clip is moving on its own as you put it in? It will grab, so that way you can take and snap it completely into place. And you just want to make sure it's completely on there, not going to come out. So that way you don't get any type of, service engine codes or anything. But that's pretty much the interior part of this done. I don't have to come back in here and mess with these wires at all. I mean, sure, I have to put this ECU back up, but for the most part, that's taken care of. ECUs all plugged back in. Like I said up here, I'm not really going to plug anything in. Actually, I'm not going to plug anything in at all. I'm just going to straighten this wire harness, coil it up, maybe even like droop it down here so I can shut the hood all the way. And we'll be back at this once I get the valve covers and maybe the throttle body. I know the valve covers is for sure coming next. The valve covers, I didn't order anything else with them, but probably gonna order something else that needs to go on the top end. That way, once I have everything for the top end, I'm only taking this plenum off one time. I'm not trying to do it 3 and 4 different times. So I will have along with the plenum, or not the plenum, along with the valve covers, new spark plugs and coils. As y'all see, I need the coils, but the spark plugs, I really don't need them, but it's just a plus. It's one of those while I'm in there. And I know I should have probably replaced the spark plugs during the engine build, but you see, I really didn't have an issue with starting this thing, so the spark plugs were fine. But we're going to throw some new ones in. Other than that, guys, really have nothing else to say. Let me get this stuff coiled up, and then we're going to wrap this video up. Alright guys, that's going to be a wrap for today. I got the harness in. I got the old one completely out over here on the ground. We made some good progress, and we found out some things that I don't need to replace, some things I do need to replace. Things that I know I need to add to the list now are alternator, entire power steering system, like from the rack all the way to this power steering pump and reservoir, because I don't know if y'all can tell, but this reservoir is pretty burnt up pretty bad. So that's not nothing. I already needed to change the steering rack on this car anyway, so power steering really ain't nothing to me ever since I completely rebuilt the entire power steering on the Altima. So if I can do it on a front wheel drive car, it's cakewalk on a rear wheel drive car. So other than that, guys, I know I need to get like I said, whole power steering system, alternator. I may need to get the cam sensor for this side, but I need to do some searching first, because I do have some extra OEM ones sitting somewhere that I got from a car off a junkyard when I did a junkyard run. So I will need probably need that. The cam sensor on this side is absolutely fine. I do need to add a crank sensor to that list, because that sensor pretty much disintegrated when I put my hand on it. Yeah, other than that, I may need to get new plenum. Well, I don't know. I'll find out if I need to get new plenum gaskets, but I don't think I will, because I don't think the fire did anything to those plenum gaskets, because I think they were metal, but one of them's paper, or like that corkboard material. But I will need to get these lines. I think these are just fuel lines. Hold on. This is the fuel damper right here. Hold on, I'm trying to get this from around it. All right, here we go. Whatever these lines are for, I know it's probably for some sort of evap system, but this area here is what I do need to get the rubber hoses for this. And then I do have silicone hoses that's going to be for all the coolant lines, but I am going to have like I said, have the wire harness just set down here so I can be able to shut the hood. And other than that, guys, I have nothing else to say. Like I said, good progress. We got the new wire harness in. I'm not going to really worry about trying to test anything right now, because I don't want to get too carried away like I did before. So we're putting the brakes on this time. We definitely putting the brakes on this time. But I'll see y'all in the next video.